Good afternoon, and welcome to the University of Maryland. Please take a moment to locate the nearest exits around you. In the unlikely event of an emergency, remain calm, listen to the instructions from staff and security personnel, and proceed to the exits in an orderly fashion. Emergency personnel are on site and ready to assist if needed. Please take this opportunity to turn off all phones and other electronic devices. Thank you for your cooperation. Please rise for the processional and remain standing until our degree candidates and platform party take their seats. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the December 2025 and May 2026 graduating class of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism. Please be seated. Presiding over today's ceremony, the Dean of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism, Rafael Lorente.
Welcome, everyone. Graduates of the class of December 2025 and May 2026, honored guests, faculty and staff, parents and friends, welcome to the Philip Merrill College of Journalism commencement ceremony. My colleagues and I are proud to honor the women and men who have completed the requirements for degrees of Doctor of Philosophy in Journalism Studies, Master of Journalism, Master of Arts in Journalism, Certificate, Master of Professional Studies in Data Journalism, Certificate in Multimedia Journalism, and Bachelor of Arts in Journalism. Before I introduce the platform party, I want to set the stage for today. Commencement celebrates the achievement of a lifetime for Merrill Terps. Our university policies do not allow for disruption of any university event, including commencement. If you wish to engage in protests, demonstrations, or other such expressive activities, you must abide by university policy and do so in the designated area outside of the venue on Chapel Field. Thank you for making this day special for our graduating Terps. Now let me introduce to you the members of the platform party. I ask the audience to please hold your applause until I have completed the introductions. Thank you. First, we have today's commencement speaker, Maria Reeve. Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Senior Lecturer and Director of Master's Programs, Alexander Piles. Today's student commencement speaker, Eddie Calkins. Assistant Dean for Undergraduate Studies, Josh Madden. Principal Lecturer, Director of Assessments, and Graduate Multimedia Certificate Program Director, Christine Harvey. Doctoral Candidate, Sally Farhat. Associate Professor, Ronald Yaros. Associate Dean for Faculty Affairs and Inclusion and Professor, Linda Steiner. Doctoral Candidate, Mohammed Ademo. Doctoral Candidate, Katie June Friesen. Associate Dean for Research and Professor, Sarah Oates. Doctoral Candidate, Mafuzul Haque. Professor and Director of our doctoral program, Susan Muller. Doctoral Candidate, Jody McFarland Friedman. Director of College Park Scholars Media, Self, and Society Program, and Senior Lecturer, Allison Burns. In the second row, George Solomon Endowed Chair in Sports Journalism and Director of the Shirley Povich Center for Sports Journalism, Professor of the Practice, Mark Hyman. Director of our Capitol News Service Audience Engagement Bureau, Stacy Decker. Director of our Capitol News Service Data and Graphics Bureau and Senior Lecturer, Adam Martin. Director of our Capitol News Service Washington, D.C. Bureau, Christy Parsons. Director of our Capitol News Service Annapolis Bureau, Deborah Berry. Director of our Howard Center for Investigative Journalism and Principal Lecturer, Sean Mussenden. Associate Professor, Krishnan Vasudevan. Doctoral Candidate, John McQuaid. Professor of the Practice, Kevin Blackstone. Eleanor Merrill Scholar on the Future of Journalism and Professor of the Practice, Tom Rosensteel. Managing Director of Capitol News Service, Marty Kaiser. Director of our Capitol News Service Broadcast Bureau and Senior Lecturer, Mel Coffey. In the third row, Klingenstein Family Endowed Chair in Journalism and Director of the local news network, Lecturer Jerry Zaremski. Professor Deborah Nelson. Adjunct Lecturer Clarence Williams. Assistant Professor Daniel Trielli. Associate Professor Rob Wells. Assistant Dean of Business Operations Vanessa Nichols-Holmes. Lecturer in Data and Computational Journalism Derek Willis. Assistant Professor Christoph Mergerson. Assistant Professor Shuning Liu. Senior Lecturer Josh Davidsburg. Lecturer Elena Capania. And in the fourth row, Program Coordinator of the College Park Scholars Media Self and Society Program, Carol Lee. Adjunct Lecturer Holly Morris. Howard Center Data Journalist Aidan Hughes. Adjunct Lecturer Alex Flum. And Adjunct Lecturer Brandon Benavides. Not on stage, broadcast production lecturer Nathan Stevens is in charge of our live stream of the ceremony, and I know he's back there, but I can't see through these lights. And serving as the announcer, our program coordinator of undergraduate recruitment, Brendan Hartlove. Please give them all a round of applause. Please be seated. We are delighted to have so many family members and friends here for today's commencement. Our graduates have worked hard, very hard, and they've made us very proud by producing top-notch work, award-winning journalism, creating their own startups, getting jobs in newsrooms across the country, and participating in countless campus service projects. Thank you for joining us today as we celebrate their accomplishments. Every year, we choose a distinguished journalist to hear from at commencement. This year, I am honored, really honored, to introduce Maria Reeve. A 1992 alum of the Merrill Master's Program and a member of the college's Hall of Fame, Maria is a Pulitzer Prize-winning editor and reporter based in Minneapolis. She currently serves as the Minnesota Star Tribune's Executive Director of Culture and Careers. Until recently, she served as managing editor at the Star Tribune. She has also served as executive editor at the Houston Chronicle and as a reporter and editor at the St. Paul Pioneer Press. In the last few years, Maria has been a part of some of the biggest stories in Minnesota and in our country. Last summer, Maria helped oversee the coverage of the shootings of 2 Minnesota state representatives and their spouses. Also last year, Maria helped lead the coverage of a shooting at a Catholic school that killed 2 children and wounded many more. This month, the Star Tribune's coverage of that awful day won the 2026 Pulitzer Prize for breaking news reporting. The Pulitzer Committee described the series as, quote, powerful stories marked by thoroughness and compassion. They could have said that about Maria. This year, Maria was again leading critical coverage. This time, she was one of the editors in charge of daily news coverage during the federal government's Operation Metro Surge in the Twin Cities. That immigration operation resulted in the deaths of 2 Minneapolis residents and drew national and international attention. Anyone who knows Maria knows she approached those difficult stories and many others over more than 3 decades with both toughness and empathy, with both fairness and a piercing eye for the effects of the stories on the people in those communities, and with both the drive to be the best and the compassion to recognize that the people who do the journalism also need to be cared for. Maria has been a member of the Merrill College family for more than 3 decades. She is a shining example of the hard work and the integrity that we like to call Merrill-made. Welcome back, old friend. Please join me in welcoming Maria Reeve.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean Lorente, faculty, staff, and students. Congratulations on your accomplishment. And to the parents and other loved ones, congratulations to you as well. This is as much your diploma as it is theirs. You worried about them, you encouraged them, you wondered silently or not so silently about their choice of career. I have 3 kids myself. The youngest just finished his freshman year at Texas and has declared a major in history, so I'm there with you. In many ways, journalists and history majors are the same, right? They're chroniclers of history and students of history. I want to add, though, that my remarks were written without the help of AI, so if you're inspired, thank you. If not, you can blame me. I was just trying to save the environment. And now to our graduates. I am deeply honored to be here to help usher you into your next chapter, that of a professional journalist. I'm also really glad to be home. Dean Lorente was in my class in 1992. Chris Harvey was my bureau chief. I've known Deborah Barfield-Berry for years and years, and some of the folks that I've met have been colleagues of people who are in my newsroom now, so you see that this is a small business. I remember my own thrill at studying at Merrill. When I was here, it wasn't called Merrill, and we didn't have that beautiful state-of-the-art building. But the intent to create smart, curious, ambitious journalists was the same. The investment that your professors have in making sure the knowledge imparted to you preps you for whatever you will encounter also remains the same, and that journalism matters. I can say without hesitation that the degree I earned here was one of the defining points of my career. And your internships, your classwork, your bureau work, all culminates in work that is absolutely necessary and critical for our community and country. As you know, you're entering the field at a perilous time. My newsroom, the Minnesota Star-Tribune, experienced firsthand what perilous means. For the past 11 months, we've covered events that put our resilience to the test. The first was the killing of the state rep and her husband, and the shooting and injuring of another senator and his wife. The second, for which we were awarded a Pulitzer Prize for breaking news, was the heartbreaking mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic Church while the children were at a back-to-school mass. Looking back at our coverage, I'm so very proud of how our journalists handled the stories, with courage, with grace, with heart, with empathy. The care we took with those stories remains something I will be simultaneously haunted by and proud of for the rest of my career. Our business editor's 4th grader was one of the students in the church at the time. KP raced across town to make sure her little girl was safe. And after that, she came back. She came back into the newsroom to gather the things she had left and to give a reporter her account. Even in the midst of what most parents would consider their worst nightmare, she did what journalists do. She witnessed. She also took the time off to care for her family and herself, because that's equally as important. And finally, late last year and earlier this year, the federal government sent Border Patrol and Immigrations and Customs to the Twin Cities under the guise of cracking down on fraud and people in the cities without proper documentation. However, you've seen what's happened. Hundreds of people were swept up, many here legally, including citizens, and of course, the shooting deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. The response of the Twin Cities community was overwhelming. We sent our reporters out to watch, to take notes, to witness. We had some amazing journalism. And our work now is focused on following the trails, making sure that we are accounting for people who were arrested, making sure we are holding government accountable. Again, you're entering the profession at a perilous time. It's important that you approach the work with clear eyes and courage to tell the truth. Whether that's at a legacy news organization like mine, or a nonprofit newsroom, a top 20 news market, or the 70th market, or a classroom. If you don't remember anything else from my remarks, it's this: lean on your training, ask for help if you need it, stay in learning mode, a newsroom, classroom, agency, and tell the stories that others aren't, because your work matters. This part is important. Don't be an asshole. Sorry, grandparents. The people sitting on either side of you, they are the people who you're going to see throughout your career. They will be along your career journey. Be nice to them. Offer help. Write a recommendation for them on LinkedIn. Text to check in once you're scattered to your new employment. And when you get to this point, show their kid around your office. All this makes the world a better place, and the hard work and the long hours that we work in newsrooms tolerable. I came back to the Star Tribune after 4 years in Houston because of the culture. It's a place that values excellency in work, collaboration, and decency. That fits me. Find where you fit. And setbacks are okay. I kind of hesitate to tell this anecdote, but I will. My freshman year in undergraduate school, my first quarter, I had a 1.5 GPA. Yeah, my dad did that too. He threatened to bring me back home. He was like, "You're not ready, you need to go to work." But I fought through it. He was my first and probably hardest boss. So thank your parents for the push they give you. The lesson for me was where you start isn't where you end. You push through anything that feels like an obstacle to you. And so tell the truth with courage and heart. And in 20 years from now, one of you will be up here delivering this message. So go be great. The world is counting on you. Congratulations, class of 2026. Go Terps!
Thank you, Maria, for joining us today. Please accept this token of our appreciation.
Thank you.
Professor and Director of the PhD program, Dr. Susan Muller, will assist Dean Lorente in presenting today's doctoral degree candidates, along with the chair of the Students' Dissertation Committee, Professor Linda Steiner.
Mohammed Adama, would you join me, please? Mohammed Adamu's dissertation examines how the Oromo people of Ethiopia use music and song to create stories, produce knowledge, and imagine a common homeland. Titled Songs of Struggle, this 490-page dissertation conceptualizes music as a medium for social movement communication and mobilization. Focusing on the period from 1930 to 2018, he explores how music functions as movement media within a repressive political environment marked by the suppression of Oromo language, culture, and identity. And I have to say, every time I talk to Mohammed about the wars going on in Ethiopia, I was in tears, but I was always energized and uplifted by discussing the wonderful role of music in a largely oral society and the way it expresses oppositional discourse, political aspirations, and a collective identity when the state monopolized mass media and restricted freedom of expression. His findings demonstrate how music and songs enable marginalized people to assert media sovereignty, sustain shared political realities, and preserve indigenous knowledge across generations, while social media expand these practices through new listening rituals and transnational solidarity. Mohammed Adamu successfully completed all requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and Journalism Studies. It is my privilege to present Mohammed Adamu before Dean Lorente and the college's faculty as eligible to be invested with a doctoral hood reflecting his earned degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dean Lorente, in accordance with a recommendation of his examining committee, the journalism graduate faculty, and the graduate council, I request that you recognize Mr. Adamu for his accomplishments and welcome him to the honorable company of learned people.
I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation and am honored to welcome Mohammed Adamu to the ranks of students of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism who have received the highest degree awarded by this university.
Katie June Friesen, will you please join me here? Katie June Friesen's dissertation examines how journalists engaged in placemaking and produced or reproduced discourses about arts-driven redevelopment, in this case, in the Prince George's County Gateway Arts District, comprising Mount Rainier, Brentwood, North Brentwood, and Hyattsville. She analyzed 20 years of local and hyperlocal news stories and interviewed journalists about how they cover redevelopment and how they understand their role in neighborhood change. I should preface a somewhat abbreviated summary of her dissertation by noting that PhD students who study news discourse always criticize it, so keep this in mind. She argues that journalists constructed an exclusionary place. Diverse communities were represented by a singular community of local leaders and homeowners. Renters and recent immigrants were largely invisible. An overall lack of local news outlets and of writers contributed to the dearth of longitudinal reporting on area development projects. Journalists told Katie they didn't realize they were centering their own demographic and stories. and as such, journalists largely missed or disregarded early signs of gentrification in these long disinvested neighborhoods. News coverage affordability issues lagged behind resident concerns and data that showed home values rising and renters struggling. Katie June Friesen successfully completed all requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Journalism Studies. It is my privilege to present Katie June Friesen before Dean Lorente and the college's faculty as eligible to be invested with a doctoral hood reflecting her earned degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dean Lorente, in accordance with a recommendation of her examining committee, the journalism graduate faculty, and the graduate council, I request that you recognize Katie June Friesen for her accomplishments and welcome her to the honorable company of learned people.
I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation and am honored to welcome Katie June Friesen to the ranks of students of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism who have received the highest degree awarded by this university.
Professor and Director of the PhD program, Dr. Susan Muller, will assist Dean Lorente in presenting today's doctoral degree candidate, along with the chair of the Students' Dissertation Committee, Associate Professor Ronald Yaros.
Will Sally Farrat please come up to me here and know that Sally's groundbreaking dissertation explores one of the most important questions in today's polarized media environment. How does political identity shape the way people judge the news? Focusing on Lebanon's complex political landscape, her study reveals that generational experiences strongly influence political engagement, which in turn shapes how audiences perceive news as credible or hostile. Her dissertation offers an innovative framework to explain how identity and media perceptions interact in divided information environments. And it uncovered a surprising insight. People confident in their political knowledge are less skeptical of bias in the media because they believe they can recognize the truth. The findings also show that audiences frequently rely on emotion and personal identity, not just facts, when it's evaluating credibility. On a personal note, working with Sally across several projects has been exceptionally rewarding, and I have no doubt that her future scholarship will continue to challenge assumptions and generate meaningful impact. Since Sally has successfully completed all requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Journalism Studies, it is my privilege to present Sally Farrat before Dean Lorente and the college's faculty as eligible to be invested with the doctoral hood reflecting her earned degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dean Lorente, in accordance with the recommendation of her examining committee, the journalism graduate faculty, and the graduate council, I request that you recognize Ms. Farrat for her accomplishments and welcome her to the honorable company of learned people.
I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation and am honored to welcome Sally Farhat to the ranks of students at the Philip Merrill College of Journalism who have received the highest degree awarded by this university.
Professor and Director of the PhD program, Dr. Susan Muller, will assist Dean Lorente in presenting today's doctoral degree candidate, along with the Chair of the Students' Dissertation Committee, Associate Professor Krishna Vasudevan.
Artificial intelligence is rapidly changing our lives, and this comes with both great societal risks and benefits. Journalism is vital in its role in articulating risk to the public. John McQuaid's dissertation entitled Risk Society in Reverse, News Coverage of Artificial Intelligence 2019 to 2025 examined how journalism was performing its key role in mediating to the public risk from AI. His study of qualitative content analysis of mainstream news and technology publications homed in on news coverage of 4 crucial moments in AI development: the usage of facial recognition, the George Floyd protests, the release of ChatGPT, and DOJ's disruption of the federal government. John's study found that journalism's capacity to convey technological risk to the public has weakened, as technology platforms are ascendant in their power to influence the public. John McQuaid successfully completed all requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Journalism Studies. It is my privilege to present John McQuaid before Dean Lorente and the college's faculty as eligible to be invested with the doctoral hood reflecting his earned degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dean Lorente, in accordance with the recommendation of his examining committee, the Journalism Graduate Faculty, and the Graduate Council, I request that you recognize Mr. McQuaid for his accomplishments and welcome him to the honorable company of learned people.
I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation, and am honored to welcome John McQuaid to the ranks of students of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism who have received the highest degree awarded by this university.
Professor and Director of the PhD program, Dr. Susan Muller, will assist Dean Lorente in presenting today's doctoral degree candidate, along with the co-chair of the Students' Dissertation Committee, Professor Sarah Oates.
This dissertation explores how journalists and fact-checkers report contested political issues in an era of polarization, misinformation, and growing public distrust. It examines how traditional journalism and fact-checking differ in their approaches to objectivity, the idea that news should be fair, credible, and trustworthy. The study analyzes coverage of healthcare, immigration, COVID-19, and election fraud during the 2012, 2016, and 2020 U.S. presidential elections, comparing reporting from major newspapers and fact-checking organizations in the United States. The findings show that traditional journalists often emphasize balance by presenting competing claims without adjudicating their veracity, whereas fact-checkers focus more directly on evaluating evidence and determining accuracy. The study also finds overlap between these approaches, particularly in the coverage of election fraud claims during the 2020 presidential election. Overall, the dissertation argues that journalism increasingly needs both balanced reporting and evidence-based adjudication to help the public understand complex political matters and hold political actors accountable. Mahfouzul Haque successfully completed all requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Journalism Studies. It is my privilege to present Mahfouzul Haque before Dean Lorente and the college's faculty as eligible to be invested with the doctoral hood reflecting his earned degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dean Laurenti, in accordance with the recommendation of his examining committee, the journalism graduate faculty, and the graduate council, I request that you recognize Mr. Hake for his accomplishments and welcome him to the honorable company of learned people.
I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation, and I'm honored to welcome Mafuzil Hake to the ranks of students of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism who have received the highest degree awarded by this university.
Associate Dean and Professor Sarah Oates will assist Dean Laurenti in presenting today's doctoral degree candidate, along with the chair of the Students' Dissertation Committee, Professor Susan Muller.
Got to turn the page. Jody has already joined me here, so I can skip that part. So, Jody McFarland Friedman, her dissertation examines today's concerns about surveillance and self-representation, considering how marginalized individuals and communities redirect existing media to challenge harmful representations. Media too often enable the injustices of those in power. But Jody's dissertation considers how individuals and communities who have been othered have strategically used media to regain their own agency and visibility. The dissertation's singular value lies in showing how interventions by marginalized individuals and groups can not only oppose powerful elites, but can also reshape media narratives and media ecology itself. In Jody's 4 case studies that examine instances of mediated resistance, Jody developed a theory that she called refractivism. The word refraction means to bend light. Refractivism denotes a kind of media activism. Jody's new refractivism theory not only makes a significant contribution to our field, it describes how we all can positively expand the possibilities for representation, recognition, and political action. Jody Friedman has successfully completed all requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Journalism Studies. It is my privilege to present Jody Friedman before Dean Laurenti and the college's faculty as eligible to be invested with a doctoral hood reflecting her earned degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dean Laurenti, in accordance with the recommendation of her examining committee, the journalism graduate faculty, and the graduate council, I request that you recognize Ms. Friedman for her accomplishments and welcome her to the honorable company of learned people.
I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation and am honored to welcome Jody McFarland Friedman to the ranks of students of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism who have received the highest degree awarded by this university.
Associate Dean Alexander Piles and Chris Harvey will now present the master's degree candidates. Each candidate will receive a lithograph and congratulations from Dean Lorente.
Will those candidates who are here to receive master's degrees from the Philip Merrill College of Journalism please rise and line up to approach the microphone? In accordance with the recommendation of the faculty of the college, please recognize these candidates who have successfully completed all requirements for the degrees of Master of Journalism or Master of Arts in Journalism. Tiaja Carliza Saunders. Jana Joelle Hoskins. Josephine Johnson. Andrew James Mullenauer. Sade Aji Shigiri. Matthew Dean Cohen. Liam Michael Bowman. Haley Camille Parsley. Aline Behar Cato. Molecule Jong Wee Lai. Kevin Kinney Cartwright. Thomas John Britton Powell. Xavier Robert Board. John Daniel Pollock. Victoria Ijoma Opara. Will those students who have completed the 4-course requirement for a graduate certificate of professional studies in multimedia journalism please stand to be recognized? Sarah Mitchell and Christian Frock. In accordance with the recommendation of the faculty of the college, please recognize these certificate candidates. Thank you.
Assistant Dean Josh Madden and Allison Burns will now present the undergraduate degree candidates. Each candidate will receive a lithograph and congratulations from Dean Lorente.
Will the undergraduate degree candidates please step forward? In accordance with the recommendation of the faculty of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism, please recognize these candidates for a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism. Laura Justine Charleston. Leah Nicole Gorbach. Alexandra Marie Merrick. Madeline Elizabeth Ruberry. Zoya Emily Church. Alina Lorne. Hayden Irene Worley. Montana Norman. Dia Shah. Lauren Elizabeth Bentley. Logan Elizabeth Beebe. Ashley Ann Euler. Aaron G. Shosted. Lucas John Rowe. Daniel Jordan Sarver. Lauren Alexis Smith. Chelsea Olivia Collier. Imani Alexis Washington Bivens. Mamaisada Aisha Bangora. William Hale Deffa. Ela Jalil. Olivia Lee Borgola. Elizabeth Allspa. Benjamin Elliott Volker. Caitlin Alexis Weinbrenner. Emily Miranda Aguilar. Isabella Alejandra Carrero Baptista. Apurva Mahajun. Mareka Elizabeth Friedman. Natalie Weger. Jaria Alexis Butler. Adam Michael Hudacek. Leah Erin Glazer. Abigail Susan O'Lear. Olivia Margaret Yasharoff. Divya Sri Rupa Bakalanka. Rachel Kelly Brock. Jack David Wynn. Jordan Lee Fine.
First name like Bernard and last name like Spears.
Eden.
Yes, and then Binder.
Eden Faith Binder. Audrey Rose Keefe. Max Schaefer. Ruby Elizabeth Siefkin. Mira Yael Baynard. Brendan Silber Wiesel. Mattingly Frank Germack. Harrison Rich. Michael Patrick Howes. Michael Nicholas Stamatos. Franklin L. Zessis. Andrew Jacob Rich. John Patrick McConnell. Devin Etta. Zoe Alexa Bewitz. Isaac Shiner. Einav Sak. Donna Valentina Mateos. Mia Bella Ferraro. Mariah Deanne Allen. Jessica Erin Dannenhirsch. Kaya Erin Bogot. Noah Jacob Bland. Harrison Dietz. Ryan Michael Alenardo. Andrew Joseph Breza. Stella Sofia Conino Quinones. Cecilia Clemens Vargas Lugo. Sofia Valenza Barros da Silva. Toluwanami O. Talawabi. Sophia Margarita Apollonio. Caroline Susan Pecora. Adelia May McGuire. Holiday Rose Woodard. Benjamin Andrew Wolf. Andrew Ryan McBride. Drew Margarita Owens. Ereet Noah Skolnick. Ian James Ferris. Sandra Morea Smith. Benjamin Dontis Kaufman. Madison Taylor Eads. Nyla Kennedy Cherry. Hannah Marie White. Miles Rothrock Grovick. Deja Monet Jones. Talia Rain Williams. Corey Aaron Perry. Ellen Julia Jornlin. Ellen Dorothy Isaacson. Cavett Joseph Ireland. Sumaya Abdel Motajali. Nicholas Joseph Elliott. Edward James Calkins.
Let's congratulate today's graduates one more time. Not a bad group, huh? So I should say, Maria, all of my remarks were written with lots of assistance from people at this podium and people on the staff, but no AI. It is an ancient university tradition to give an outstanding graduate, selected by our undergraduate students, the opportunity to address the commencement assembly on behalf of fellow students. This year, they have selected Eddie Calkins to represent them. A Howard County, Maryland native, Eddie majored in journalism and minored in linguistics. He spent numerous semesters with Merrill College's Capital News Service TV as a reporter, producer, and member of the technical crew. He also traveled to London with the Shirley Povich Center for Sports Journalism and served as the executive producer for Terrapin Sports Central for more than a year. For those of you who follow our emails and socials about student awards, you've seen Eddie's name. He's kind of a frequent flyer. Speaking of, a little discovery I made this morning, Eddie has accepted a job as a TV producer in Richmond, Virginia. Let's welcome Eddie Calkins.
Good afternoon, class of 2026! Woo! We did it. We did it. I'm going to start with a question, though, because that's what good journalists do, or at least what these amazing professors have taught me over the last 4 years. So my question is this. All your hands better be up. Who has skipped a class over the last 4 years? Don't worry, don't worry. They can't get us now. We already walked the stage. It's all right. It's all right. They can't penalize us. But I do want you to think about what would happen if you showed up to that class. That's how I got here in life. I showed up. And since that's my message, can I leave now, Raphael? I showed up to my speech. That's the message. I'm good. Just kidding, just kidding. But as cliche and simple as that sounds, I mean it. We truly would not be in the position we are today if we did not show up. But it actually takes a little bit more than showing up. We need to be present. That lesson has been reinforced for me, and I'm sure all of us out here, over the last 4 years. Here's a quick example. I was scheduled to work the day before Thanksgiving at my internship at NBC4 in Washington. The newsroom was quiet. Even my boss, Jason, I think he's here, he was off too. He's somewhere, I think, hopefully. I was in the back of the newsroom doing what interns do best, pretending to look busy. I was just clicking away at the computer. I was dreaming of a nice Thanksgiving dinner, just hoping to get to the end of the day. About mid-afternoon, I heard a loud scream from the assignment desk. The assignment editor said, "I think a National Guardsman was just shot." In no time at all, we were up in breaking news, and I have never seen a newsroom move so fast. It was pretty insane. Especially in a chaotic and tragic situation. And I had to think to myself, what should I do to not make things worse? So I did what I was taught. I ran to the control room, started helping cut video, help the producers out, do whatever I could to make sure the world knew about that tragic and chaotic day. Even though just an hour before, I was itching to leave at 5 p.m., but I ended up staying until 6, 7 p.m. So I was very happy, and that was the best day of my internship by far because I learned so much about me, but also as a person. In today's age, when it's easy to show up virtually, we need to be present. Show up, be ready to go, and pay attention, because that's what I did that day. You never know what's going to happen. Who remembers last year's main commencement speaker? Kermit the Frog. Now, I can never top him. But what I will say is last year, I was helping out on the technical crew for Kermit the Frog. And we were going through rehearsals, and I was not supposed to be a camera operator at all. I was just supposed to be there helping out. But because I was in place, ready to go during rehearsals, That beautiful, and I mean beautiful camera shot you saw all over the news of Kermit, that was me. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. The point is, we have the skills to succeed in the professional world. Just showing up and being there really counts. Being present in the moment. You guys remember we were freshmen, starting from scratch? Seems like just yesterday. Think about how far we've come. Over the last 4 years, we've learned to ask tough questions, we've learned to cold call sources, and hopefully you've seen how much it means to show up in person. We've combined all those ingredients into a Merrill College degree. That's exactly how my favorite food, a donut, is made. You mix up the ingredients, and you put it all together. Come on, guys. Did you really think I go a whole speech without talking about donuts? Come on. I could stand here for hours and acknowledge every person in this room and on the stage, but we would be here forever, and Dean Lorente just told me there's donuts in the back, so I gotta leave. I do want to give a special shout out before I leave to the CNS Broadcast Bureau, Mel Coffey, Nathan, who's doing the production back there, Cindy Wright, Helen and Bill, and the professors Brandon Benavides, Ben Worsley, David Lightman, Joe Yasharoff, Mark Hyman, and Kate Yancholis, and the rest of this amazing faculty. Give it up for them. And of course, we can't forget about our parents, families, and close friends. I talk about showing up, but my parents and family have shown up for me time and time again, so thank you guys. I want to end the same way my first ever journalism class ended. For those of you who remember the great history of journalism professor Ira Chenoy, yeah. He quoted Pulitzer Prize winning author Louis Menand. And on that last slide, the quote read, "We look backward for clues because with the future being on the other side of a closed door, we have no place else to look." So Merrill class of 2026, we have the clues, we have the tools, we're now Merrill made, and now it's time to show up. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Eddie, and I'm glad you showed up because we haven't mailed the diplomas yet. While all students work hard to earn their degrees, there are a few who deserve special recognition because of their accomplishments. In your program, you will find the names of this year's award recipients as recommended by members of our faculty.
Director of the Howard Center for Investigative Journalism, Sean Mussenden, will now recognize our outstanding undergraduate student for this commencement.
Okay, would our outstanding undergraduate, Apurva Mahajan, please come up to the stage? We'll just wait, no hurry. So I've had the distinct pleasure of working closely with Apurva during his time at Merrill after he cold emailed me 3 years ago inquiring about volunteer opportunities in the Howard Center. For those of you who don't know, the Howard Center is an investigative reporting training program that partners students with professional news organizations like the Associated Press and NPR to produce investigations. One of our specialties is investigations that require complex data analysis and the application of computational methods with the work done by student journalists. I don't know if you remember this. This is what Apurva wrote to me in a cold email 3 years ago. I love working with data and numbers, but I don't have quite enough experience just yet to have the best skill set. Over the last 4 years, Apurva has worked extremely hard to acquire that experience. He was data editor, managing editor, and editor-in-chief of The Diamondback, one of our award-winning student news organizations. He interned at Aviation Week, the Frederick News Post, and the Detroit News, and most recently was a data visualization fellow at the Texas Tribune. He was also, for most of his tenure here, one of the most valuable members of our team at the Howard Center. He contributed data analysis to investigations, built advanced web applications to explore data, and developed AI-powered reporting tools. So I can assure you that Apurva is leaving us with, to use his phrasing in that cold email, the best skill set. Indeed, he's one of the finest data journalists this school has ever produced. Apurva, we're going to miss you. Next month, he joins the Washington Post data desk for an extremely selective summer internship. And then this fall, he'll move to Austin, Texas, where he'll start a full-time job as a data visuals developer at the Texas Tribune. Please join me in congratulating Apurva, our outstanding undergraduate.
Derek Willis and Elena Delfino Campagna will now recognize our outstanding master's students for this commencement.
Will Aline Behar Kato please join me on the stage? There is, in addition, Zion Williams is also an outstanding master's graduate. Zion's not here today for a very good reason. He's working. The kinds of students who win this award invariably are the kinds of students that faculty members always say they love to have in their classes. Aline is no exception to that. She's diligent, careful, hardworking. But being an outstanding student usually means you're also pretty competitive in some ways. And not every outstanding student is always universally liked by their colleagues. Aline is, despite my best efforts for looking for evidence, well-liked, well-loved by her colleagues here at the college. I can report that she is even well-liked by the undergraduates whose classes she served as a teaching assistant for, which, that's a really good thing. But make no mistake, Aline is no pushover. She is every bit the investigative reporter that she came here to be, and then some. She has been a reporting force for the Howard Center for Investigative Journalism and for Capitol News Service during her time here. Her reporting on immigration at no little personal risk is an example of the finest work that Merrill students can produce under intense pressure. We are immensely proud of you. Those of us on the faculty who have seen her in class and her work, and those of you who have seen her reporting as your colleague, you know what she can do, and we all look forward to seeing more of it, however that happens. Wherever you go, you can always call this place home. It is my great honor to present you with this Outstanding Master's Student Award.
Today, I am speaking about Zion Williams, who is out in the workforce working in our industry. So he's not here. And you'd know if he was here because he's like 7 feet tall. So he'd be standing right here, very tall. But I had the pleasure of teaching Zion in the master section of news videography. And he's the kind of student that every teacher hopes for, because Zion approaches every assignment with curiosity, intention, and genuine desire to improve, because that's what we're doing here. Like, we're improving and we're growing and we're learning, especially when we get into our industry. He listens closely, asks thoughtful questions, and always goes the extra mile to strengthen his reporting and visual storytelling skills. Beyond his talent, Zion is also one of the kindest students I've had the opportunity to teach, and yes, definitely the tallest. There were 2 things that never surprised me: Zion Williams being named Outstanding Master Student and landing a job by graduation. Both are incredibly well-deserved. Congratulations, Zion.
Chris Harvey will now recognize this commencement's Kappa Tau Alpha awardees and top KTA awardee.
I am very pleased to present the Kappa Tau Alpha Awards to 9 deserving students whose scores are among the highest in this undergraduate class. KTA is the nationally recognized honor society for those pursuing scholarship in journalism and mass communication. The University of Maryland chapter has been recognizing the academic excellence of its students for 65 years, since 1961. The following undergraduates have agreed to be recognized today for their outstanding academic achievements, earning grade point averages ranging from 3.891, that's the low, to the almost perfect 3.987, and all of them have been holding down impressive internships and jobs along with getting those great grades. Will the following 9 students please come to the stage and line up here to my left to receive your KTA certificates. I'll be giving a brief intro for each of you as you walk up, but remain on stage until after receiving your award. I'll let you know when you can sit down. Eden Binder. Eden just completed a semester as an audience engagement editor with the college's Capital News Service. She was a Low for Democracy intern and a participant in the UMD Fellows Program. She was an intern at the Maryland General Assembly last spring and a field operations intern for C-SPAN last fall. She's now an advocacy and communications intern at the Design Build Institute of America, and she'll be working there full-time after graduation. Mareka Friedman. Mareka spent 4 years on the Diamondbacks news desk, including as news editor. She interned for USA Today Network, the Texas Tribune, and the college's Howard Center for Investigative Journalism. She's now working part-time for Bloomberg News, assisting with White House coverage. She's going to be reporting there as an intern at the Banner as an intern this summer. Apurva Mahajan. I am not going to try to top Sean Mussenden's wonderful accolades
from just a few minutes ago, so we're just going to watch him walk on up. Natalie Weger. Natalie served as news editor of the Diamondback and a data and graphics reporter for Capital News Service. She's had reporting internships at the Wall Street Journal and the Daily Record in Baltimore. This summer, she'll be a corporate reporting intern at Bloomberg Law. Caitlin Weinbrenner. Caitlin's graduating with a dual degree in journalism and Spanish. She interned for the Cumberland Times-News and spent the spring semester in the Capital News Service DC Bureau. She'll be spending the summer at the Frederick News Post as a Dow Jones News Fund intern. Olivia Borgula. Sorry, Olivia. Olivia was managing editor of the Diamondback and worked at the Howard Center and Capital News Service's Data and Graphics Bureau. This semester, she was a DC-based reporting fellow with the Texas Tribune, and this summer, she'll be a data intern at the San Francisco Chronicle. Stella Canino Canunes. During Stella's time at Merrill College, she worked as a data reporter at Capital News Service and was the Fall 2025 Washington Post Metro Desk Academic Fellow. Before that, she interned at the Baltimore Sun on the investigative desk, reporting stories on homelessness, immigration, and housing. She also covered PG County government for the Diamondback, managed social media for the Piedmont Journalism Foundation, and reported in Spanish for a paper based in Puerto Rico. Stella's returning to the Washington Post as a summer intern on the national desk. Jessica Dannenhirsch. Jessica has held 5 internships during her time at Merrill, including one with NBC's Meet the Press, and 3 internships with local news and media companies in her hometown of Pittsburgh. Her 5th internship was as a photographer with the campus Office of Marketing and Communications. She also reported for Capital News Service's Washington Bureau, and through a photojournalism independent study, she assisted the CNS bureaus with photography, including being able to capture the State of the Union. She also worked with Maryland Baseball Network and on campus with Stories Beneath the Shell, WMUC, the Mitzvah, and Terrapin Yearbook. This summer, she's going to be interning with the Smithsonian Magazine. And last but not least, Ela Jalil. Ela has interned at the Baltimore Banner, the Atlanta Business Chronicle, and the Baltimore Sun. On campus, she served as deputy engagement editor for the Diamondback, took the Capital News Service's data and graphics capstone, and worked with the Howard Center for Investigative Journalism. This summer, she will be interning at the Investigative Reporting Workshop in the Washington Post as a data intern through the Dow Jones News Fund program. KTA expects all of you to uphold the highest ideals of journalism and communication. If you agree with those ideals, give me a strong yes. Excellent. I can now give you your KTA certificate if you hold on. Do we stay where you are? Don't go. Natalie? Yeah, we got more. Caitlin? Olivia? Stella? Jessica? Thank you. And Ela. Give them all a big hand. Finally, we're not done. Finally, the college would like to recognize Olivia Borgala as Capital Alpha's top award winner. She's graduating summa cum laude with a 3.987 GPA. Come on. That deserves a little hand. Good job. All right, now you're dismissed. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Great job.
Pretty impressive stuff. Congratulations again. On June 28, 2018, a gunman armed with an automatic shotgun assassinated 5 members of the staff at the Annapolis Capital-Gazette newspaper. Merrill College and the Capital-Gazette have long had very close ties. Philip Merrill, for whom our college is named, was the longtime owner of the newspaper. Many of our alumni have started their careers in Annapolis. 3 of the murdered people had special ties to Merrill College. Editorial writer Gerald Fishman graduated from Merrill College in 1979. Sports journalist John McNamara graduated from Merrill College in 1983. And editor, reporter, and columnist Rob Hyacin was an adjunct lecturer who taught reporting at Merrill College. To honor the Capital-Gazette victims, the college has created 3 awards.
Jerry Zaremski will now present the Gerald Fishman Award for News, Commentary, and Criticism.
The Gerald Fishman Award for News, Commentary, and Criticism honors Gerald Fishman, who was a thoughtful, tenacious opinion writer whose commentary on the Capital-Gazette's opinion pages year after year helped clarify issues for Annapolis citizens for decades. The Fishman Award this year goes to Merrill Jr. Joe Wick. Joe, would you please join me? Now, as I hope you know by now, we can teach you a lot here at Merrill College. We can teach you how to write. We can teach you how to report. We can even teach you how to use AI ethically. But there are some things that are crucial to journalism that really can't be taught, that are innate. And among them is courage. And I think that our winner today, Joe Wick, embodies courage. And of course, that's not all. In the words of my colleague Allison Burns, who nominated Joe for this award, Joe seems to have the most essential qualities for a journalist: curiosity, deep thirst for knowledge, awareness of what's going on in the world and the history that shaped it, and most importantly, empathy and caring. Personally, I got to know Joe when he did a very, very good story for me in my enterprise reporting class last year. But I think we all got to know Joe even better this year through his extraordinary work at the Diamondback, his extraordinary columns. For those who read them, I think you know what I mean when I say that Joe embodies courage. Terps, I'm very proud to present this award to Joe Wick.
Director of the Shirley Povich Center for Sports Journalism and Professor of the Practice, Mark Hyman, will present one of the John McNamara Sports Writing Awards.
The John McNamara Sports Writing Award honors one of Maryland's most beloved sports writers, John McNamara, who will be remembered especially for his coverage of Maryland basketball. Will Harrison Rich join me on the stage? It's a great year to be Harrison Rich, and that, my friends, is an understatement. Allow me to share a few highlights. September, Harrison returns to campus as sports editor of the Diamondback. In addition to supervising and editing a staff of 14, he contributes, by my count, 34 byline stories. December, Harrison is selected for a prestigious summer internship in the sports department at the San Francisco Chronicle. January, Harrison travels to London with the Povich Center and makes a major contribution in text and video reporting to a project on World Cup 2026 and global soccer. February, Harrison heads to Super Bowl 60, and he spends 4 days as a correspondent at the big game for the Sports Business Journal, the Baltimore Banner, and Capitol News Service. And then May, Harrison and classmates win top honors for enterprise reporting in the annual contest of Associated Press sports editors, Harrison, of course, contributing 2 byline stories. What's next for Harrison Rich? That is the question. I will remember Harrison always for his maturity, his calm under pressure, his news judgment, his mentorship of younger students, and for his very dry, quite hilarious sense of humor. It's my great pleasure to present the John McNamara Award for Excellence in Sports Journalism to Harrison Rich.
Director of the Capitol News Service Broadcast Bureau and Senior Lecturer Mel Coffey will present the second John McNamara Sports Writing Award.
Our second winner of the John McNamara Sports Writing Award goes to Eddie Calkins. Eddie? It's kind of like when the anchor reads part of your live shot so I'm going to truncate this because there's so much that's already been said about you, Eddie. But Eddie is recognized rightfully with this award, and awards from so many other journalism organizations, including the Society of Professional Journalists, the Chesapeake AP Broadcasters Association, the Maryland, Delaware, and DC Press Association, and the Hearst Journalism Awards, which is the Cadillac of college awards. But more than awards, let's talk about leadership. Eddie hit the ground running in his freshman year when he was a reporter for The Left Bench and Terrapin Sports Central, which he ultimately led as executive producer. His excellence in leadership came to the fore in London, as you heard, where he was chosen among an elite group of sports journalists to go there with the Shirley Povich Center for Sports Study Abroad program. His leadership skills were on display daily in the Capitol News Service Bureau, where Professor Cindy Wright, Nathan Stevens, and I relied on you so many days to back us up when deadlines were demanding. But more than leadership, there's character. Eddie has a knowledge enhanced by goodness, the courage to question and challenge, and the audacity to dare, which makes every organization you are with better, yourself better, and all of us around you even better. I am honored to present this award to you, Eddie. Once my student, now my colleague, and forever my friend. Congratulations.
Chris Harvey will present the Rob Hyacin Adjunct Faculty Award.
I'm very pleased to present the Rob Hyacin Award to Holly Morris, who works part-time at Merrill College while holding down a full-time job as a digital journalism trainer with NPR. Holly, come on up here, please. The award recognizes outstanding part-time faculty at Merrill College in memory of Rob, who was a highly effective and caring teacher and a mentor to our student journalists, while holding down a full-time job as an editor and columnist at the Capital Gazette. Holly taught a section of our basic news writing class to undergraduates last fall and came in with high energy and enthusiasm and a teaching style that wove fun into some of her assignments, carrying into all of them. Her students responded with great enthusiasm for her and for the tough required class. Holly stepped up in the spring to teach a social media and analytics class in our weekend graduate multimedia certificate program. One of our associate deans had earlier spotted the materials she had created and shared publicly for NPR training and knew she would be a strong fit to lead this class too. Students again responded enthusiastically to Holly and her lessons and teaching style. One called her amazing and said she went above and beyond requirements of the part-time job, showing with interactions to the students how much she cared for them, even reaching out to help one connect with a colleague of Holly's who could give her advice on a science writing career. Holly, please accept the college's gratitude for a job well done. Congratulations.
It's a stretch run. Graduates, I say this a lot to my colleagues and to my friends, and frankly to anybody who will listen. I am so proud of you. It is a privilege and an honor to be your dean. I have been at Merrill for more than 20 years. Over that time, I've taught reporting and writing classes. I've run our bureaus in Annapolis and Washington. I've served as associate dean and as dean, and some other stuff. In that time, I have learned much more from all of you and your predecessors than I've ever taught you. Thank you. Good journalists find the truth and tell it in a compelling way. We do it because good journalism can change the world. It holds power accountable, and it helps citizens govern. Merrill graduates value accuracy, facts, integrity, and innovation. They value their audience, and they value their fellow journalists. As you go forward, take what you learned from us and what you taught us and apply those values to journalism or to whatever else you do. Take the critical thinking skills you've honed and bring to bear the power of the written word, of audio and visual storytelling, of data analysis and computational methods, and yes, of artificial intelligence and more. Get it right. Do it with integrity. Make the world better. To the parents and family who entrusted us with the education of your pride and joy, thank you. We take that responsibility seriously. And thank you to the faculty and staff who work so hard to make this place so great. It is one of the privileges of being dean of this college that I am the envy of many of my colleagues around the country who ask, how'd you get that faculty? So students, how about a round of applause for the parents and the faculty and the staff? Graduates, you'll be hearing from us in the future, so I hope you attend our events and reunions. Please fill out those graduate surveys. You'll be helping us make things better for future students. And please step up when we need help with another spectacular high school senior or recent college grad, just like you, who needs to hear a little bit of encouragement from a successful alum before they commit to Merrill College. If you're able, please contribute to our scholarship funds. Many of you benefited from scholarship donations from alumni. It'll be your chance to give back. And tomorrow, when I call on your class to stand and be recognized, make a lot of noise. We may be the smallest college on campus, but we punch well above our weight. Finally, I want to say it's okay to be nervous or even a little scared. 3 years into this job, I wake up most days with at least a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like you, I have family, friends, and colleagues who tell me it's okay. Just keep going. When I'm having a really bad day, the really smart person in my house tells me, do the ones. The ones are those things that you can just do. You know, fold some laundry. Put the dishes in the dishwasher. Whatever. Just that mindless stuff. And it gets you going again. And before you know it, you're working on what you were supposed to be working. Good things are often difficult. But you've already done a good and difficult thing. You've graduated from the University of Maryland. It's all right. You've helped each other. You've cheered each other on, and you've picked each other up. I am confident that together, you're going to make this a better world. Congratulations again, and go Terps!
Will everyone please rise for the recessional? Please remain standing during the recessional until the platform party and students have filed out. Then follow the recession out of the building. Thank you and congratulations, graduates of Merrill College.